Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. We always start just a little bit early to get things warmed up and to say hello to everyone who's coming in. So as you come in here tonight, go ahead and tell us your name and tell us where you're from. And there's about for Rachel and Terri, I forgot to tell you, there's like a 15-second delay. So okay. For people to start coming in. So I know some of the folks said they couldn't meet with us tonight because they had other things going on, but we'll see. Everyone kind of start to float in there. But I'm so glad that you guys have agreed to join us. It's going to be fun.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. You guys are hilarious. So it's going to be fun.
That's why everyone needs to enter.
No laughing aloud. Did she tell you that?
Oh, that's going to be hard, Ken. I'm a giggler.
You got Michelle Martinez.
Hey, Michelle.
So glad you're here. And we have somebody else in here too, but I can't see who it is. Let me see if I can see on my iPad. So, can you see it?
It might be my husband. It might be Rachel's husband.
But hey, let me see.
Mine's still working.
Okay. No. Hang on here. Let me get to it so I can monitor it on my iPad when we're there. Okay, great. And so we're glad that folks will be coming in here, like I said, and just say hello to them. And so, yeah, you guys looking great tonight. And do you have a busy day?
Yeah. We did. We making some 2-story panels.
Oh, you guys just really have real high windows there, don't you?
We do.
Don't mess with Texas. Everything's big there.
That's right.
Big windows.
But
She gets distracted by all this other stuff. I don't know why she doesn't just stay focused on the one screen.
well, because I'm just sharing it out there for everyone, because that way it goes ahead and it gives them a little notification to come on in.
Yay!
Like I said, there's a lot of folks. They couldn't make it tonight, but they would be watching the replay. So we always keep that in mind. So yeah, and it just we're eating dinner and things like that. So like I said, hey everyone, as you come in, just go ahead and say hello and let us know where you are coming in here from. It's great to see everybody, and just let everyone know that a little bit later in the broadcast, you will be hearing from Kevin Keiss and Julia Tamer. They are sitting there waiting in the wings. We have a little lobby area, and they're going to share their experience with us. They were both had entries in last year's Artisan project, right? Right, ladies?
Yep. That's right.
Yeah. So it's so I'm so excited. You know, I've always been, like I said, so intrigued. You know, and when we go to the conference to see all these treatments up, it's just let's see, who do we have there? We've got.
Missy.
What'd you say?
I said I can see the names. Missy Betsmark. Missy is here.
Oh yeah. Missy. Yep, and Alicia. Yeah, and we have Missy. Hey, Missy. Mm-hmm. Missy, where are you from? Oh no, Alicia's from Richmond.
Missy's from Louisiana.
Oh, okay. What part? We've had some. I guess my cousins, they're in southern Mississippi.
I think she's from Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge. All right. And we have somebody else out there. Again, let us know where you're coming in here from. Yep, you're right. Baton Rouge. Great to have you here. We'll give it one more minute, and then we will officially start this show. Like I said, I know I'm multitasking because I can.
You're just jealous, Ken, because you can't.
I can, but I choose not to, because I'm more of a focused individual.
Oh, yes, and we're going to talk about that, aren't we?
You say so.
Okay.
Dear.
Dear. All right. I know I am. We're going to talk a little bit about that. About who's the focused one, who's the squirrel. Which one are you guys? Are you guys like?
Terry's the squirrel. I'm squirrel.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. I tell you, it is. It can be a curse, but then again, it can be great because we just have all these, thoughts and ideas. Right. I guess not.
Yes.
Yes, dear.
It's very creative and very chaotic.
Uh-huh. And Michelle says, "So am I. I am feeding the rabbits, pigs, and goats."
That sounds like Michelle.
I know. She's got a farm there, doesn't she?
She does.
Oh my gosh. Well, it is 7:01, so we are going to get officially started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you all into the lobby with Julia and Kevin, and keep it down. You actually can't talk to each other there, but it would be hilarious. You'd have your own show going on if you could. So. All right, I'll put you down there, and then we'll bring you back in just a few moments.
All righty.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 14 of the Live with Sandra V and
Kenny V show. And before we get started, please hit that share button. We love it when others can join in also.
Mm-hmm. Now, Kim and I are here on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, unless we're traveling. And I think we're almost done with most of our traveling for the year, right?
Personal travel. I think you got some business stuff.
I do. I have one business trip. Yeah.
And we enjoy having each of you here, or all of you here each week. And especially those who catch us on the replay. We appreciate your participation as well. Mm-hmm. Because if you guys weren't out there as viewers, there was no reason for us to be here.
You just sound kind of monotone tonight, right? Anyway, our goal is to inspire, share, and educate others within our industry. And we really do enjoy bringing guests on the show that share that same vision.
Our guest tonight is Terri Booser and Rachel Barrera. And they certainly have their vision.
That's right. I think they share our vision. I mean, they are great educators out there. Right? Would you say?
Yeah.
Very good. Now, before we bring them back out, I just want to give everyone a lineup of tonight's show. First, Ken is going to give a really great installation tip. And then I want to, or Kim will remind you about the contest we have going on for the free iographer. And then we're going to bring Terri and Rachel back out to talk about the Artisan project. And if we have time, we're going to talk a little bit about the construction zone. And like I said a few minutes ago, we have Julia Tamer and Kevin Kais back in the lobby here. And we're going to bring them out because I think you need to hear from them just how the experience they had going through the process last year with the Artisan program.
And don't forget to mention next week's guest.
I won't. I think you need to drink. You're kind of like, tonight, right? Oh, anyway. And then after that, we will finish up the evening with some of the upcoming industry news.
And have lots to share tonight.
We should do. So let me start by asking how many of you saw my Monday quote. And the quote was, everyone who's ever taken a shower has had an idea. And it's the person who gets out of the shower, who dries off and does something about it, who makes the difference. So I don't know if we were just about you all, but we were just talking with Rachel and Terri about some of us are so creative. We've got these swirls going on in our heads all the time, And so I have to admit that I do have some of my best ideas while I'm taking a shower. I mean, some of those, it's like a light bulb going off, and they just kind of hit me,
Maybe it has something to do with water hitting your head.
I don't think so. But, it's just like those light bulb moments. And I wish that I had some kind of pen and paper in there so I can start writing them down so I can remember them.
Waterproof?
Waterproof would be perfect. Would be perfect. What about you? Have you ever had those light bulb shower moments?
Now, I already know what I'm doing for the day.
You're already like down and dirty?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's where we differ, right?
Yeah. One area at least.
I have those squirrels running around my head. How about you guys? Anybody out there feel the same way? Oh man. But I can have like 3 projects out on my work table at one time, and I'll probably hop from one to the other, hop to the next one before I finish up the first one, right?
Yeah, at least 3.
Well, I guess since you're so focused, I guess that's what makes you a great installer, right? You're focused.
Yeah.
You're
I would
neat.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly.
And I don't always get to install you, accompany you on your installs, but I have to say that I do admire you for the systems that you have in place. And I think you know which ones I'm talking about, right? So why don't you share some of your installation systems?
Well, once I figure out what I'm doing in the customer's home, whether it's board mounted balances or draperies, or if I'm hanging art, if it's draperies or board mounted balances where I need angle irons, I normally don't bring the whole bin in that has all the angle irons, so I'll figure out how many I need and bring almost the exact amount in, the exact projection. And then also I bring a bag of screws in, but I'll I'll count out the number of screws that I need, different types of screws depending on what the project is, just so that I don't have, hopefully I won't have any extras at the end, or won't be short at the end. And if I am short at the end, then that means that there's a chance that maybe one fell on the floor that I didn't get off the ladder and go pick up, or go fishing, because I have a magnetic tip measuring tape that I go fishing for whatever drops if I can see it. But sometimes they'll have little legs and they'll back up underneath the sofa or underneath the table. And if it's on a carpet, then sometimes they hit and you don't hear them, because the carpet obviously deadens the sound. A hardwood floor, they'll hit and bounce all over the place. So the reason I do that is because I don't want to leave any extra hardware behind. Not that I'm cheap, but I am. But for other reason is safety. People have pets, people have little kids, and then also, I don't want to be stepping on the screw, especially if it's on hardwood floor, because not only is it going to hurt my foot, but it may end up hurting the floor as well. And I just don't want to be responsible for that. So that's why I am conscious of the number of pieces of hardware that I have pull out of the bag. And, I just try to do my best to, keep control of them so that they don't fall. But, of course, stuff happens, and they may fall out of the drill bit. I hit the trim before I get to the bracket where I'm going, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty helpful. I do. I like I said, over the years, going with you, of course, if you dropped a screw, and I'm like, well, we'll just get in, I'll find that one and just get another one. And he's like, no, I've counted them. I know how many I have. And so I guess that's what makes you a great installer. So unique.
Well, I haven't had anybody call saying their dog is choked on a screw, or their kid swallowed it or stepped on it or anything like that. So
yeah.
There's no sense in changing it.
I guess not. Well, that's a helpful tip. And I hope that all of you, if you don't already do that, find that that's helpful for you too. So
that's something to think about anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You may have different systems, and we'll be happy to hear about those as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Before we go on this real quick, say hello to everyone. And as you're coming in again, folks are filtering in, go ahead and say hello to us and let us know where you're from. And hey, Kim and Bill, and we've said hello to Michelle and Missy and Laisha. And there's a few others out there. So just go ahead and type in and let us know that you're here. Now, many of you were here about, 3 weeks ago now when Dave Basuto, the creator of the iOgrapher, was our guest. And he announced that he was going to give away an iOgrapher and that it was up to us to decide how we wanted to make that happen. And so I have put out there, there's a contest going. And Ken, but why don't you show them the iOgrapher first?
I was pretty impressed with the product and the other accessories that he has available to it. And I'm not normally at the edge of my seat, but I certainly was while he was describing it, because these are devices that holds the iPad or iPhone or an iPad Mini, and I think they have the iPhone Plus. Probably about the 4 different sizes that the iPads and iPhones come in, and it attaches to a tripod on the little screw right there. And it has what they call cold shoe mounts, meaning it's cold shoe because it's got to be self-powered. It's not powered off the device. Sometimes you'll recognize that. If you can see, it's kind of hard with everything being black.
Yeah, put it over in between us a little bit. There,
Yeah,
I'll move over. You can show it up.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to get the angle. You see right here, I'm talking about this cold shoe mount. Sometimes you'll see that same type of mount on top of a regular camera. And that would be considered a hot shoe mount because it may be being powered from the camera itself. But you got a couple of those on the little one here for the iPad, and then you also got additional screw here if you want to go in the portrait setting instead of landscape for the tripod.
Yeah, they're pretty neat devices. I have one for my iPad. Now, this one does come with 2 different, two different lenses, and I've dismantled them because I took my iPad to High Point with us this past weekend.
Hey, they all know that. I'm sure they all saw those videos.
Oh, okay, because you're the cameraman, right? Anyways, I took the wide angle lens off, but you can see that it really helps when you're out there taking either pictures or movies, and you can hold on to it and move it around. And like I said, I've taken all the mics and everything off too. But anyway, they're pretty neat and they're pretty handy. So here are the contest rules. You need to like our Live with Sandra V page. You need to share the page, and then there's a post down, probably about a week ago that I made with me opening up this iOgrapher, and then tell me how you would use the iOgrapher and that you have liked and shared the page. And then your name will be entered in the drawing. And 1 week from tonight on the show, we will draw the lucky winner. Okay. So, and if you cannot wait to get one, and you cannot wait to see if you win one, you want one of your own. In this post that we're in today, I have included an affiliate link if you would like to go ahead and purchase one of them or any of their accessories that they sell. So, all right. Who else is in here with us tonight? Again, tell us where you're from. And now it's time to bring in our guest.
The first group.
The first group. Yes. Hey, lady.
Hi.
Thank you guys for taking time out of your very busy schedule to join us here tonight.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Yeah. I call you two the dynamic duo.
We'll take it. Yeah.
I have to tell you, when we've had a blast, I always have a practice session, and then we were in here a little bit earlier, and like I said, Kevin and Julie are waiting in the lobby, and we really had some fun, didn't we?
Yes, always.
I usually like to start the show by going back to when I first met our guest. And, Terri, you and I are talking. It seems like I've known you forever. And we've seen each other. We've probably kind of nodded and everything. But I don't know that I formally met you until probably when? When could it have been?
I think it was a couple conferences ago.
Yeah, I think so too.
Sure.
Yeah.
You were just starting all your videoing and stuff like that. So I think that's when I remember you going around the construction zone and taking pictures. And so I think that's when we formally met. But of course, online forever.
And then, Rachel, I was thinking that I formally met you at the last conference, at the last IWCE conference.
Yes. You were filming the Artisan winners, and I had an entry, so we talked then and met. So it was nice.
Yeah, it was. Well, first, let's start off by you all telling us a little bit about your business. I know you kind of joined forces, if I'm not mistaken, and tell us about the business and where you're located.
Okay, we are in just outside of Houston, Texas, south of Houston in League City. We just joined our businesses in January. We had our separate businesses. I've been in the business 27 years. Rachel's been in the business 17 this year. And when Jeff and I moved to Texas, we had met through our Houston area drapery association and just kind of hit it off automatically. And we started sharing work where, if I had a big job, Rachel would come up and help me. If she had a big job, I'd go down and help her. And we're like, let's just join forces and, join everything. So recently in April, I moved to League City from Huntsville, which is 2.5 hours away, because we were 75 miles apart. 85 miles apart, and it was a little difficult. Yeah. We were spending a lot of time traveling rather than working. Yeah. So Rachel bought a brand new house in League City, and brand new to her. Yeah. And remodeled the entire upstairs as our workroom. Mm-hmm. And then I moved 1.7 miles away from Rachel. So it's awesome.
Very convenient.
Yeah, very, very convenient. So
you work 24/7.
Yeah, and she kind of tries to make us do that.
So you heard Ken and I in my story about being focused or not. So who's Ken and who's Sandra?
I'm Sandra. Yeah, I'm definitely the Sandra.
Oh, hey, I'm Ken.
Yeah,
all the way.
She's the keep focused, keep the nose down to the table and stuff, and I'm like, woo! What are we doing next?
Yeah, we got a lot of structure. Terri does not.
Yeah, I think our joining business was actually Jess, my husband's idea first.
He might regret it now.
Yeah, he might regret it now, but. And Rachel, she wasn't sure, but I think he had something in mind that Rachel would keep me in line, and pretty true to that. It's nice to have a partner in crime, though.
Jeff sounds like a smart man.
Yes, he is. He is.
Oh my gosh. Well, before we start talking about the Artisan project, again, I'd like to welcome everybody here and welcome Jennifer. And then if you all could just share it out so others can come on in, because this is the important part. This is the part we've been kind of waiting for. And I have a lot of questions. I've heard about the Artisan project for a while, but I didn't know all the backstories. I didn't have all the ins and outs. So I'm really going to try to hone in on that a little bit before we start talking about the whole submitting the entries and but before we get to all that. So I'm gonna get some history from you first. So tell me, when did this project start and why?
Okay, so the Artisan project, this will be the 4th year officially for the Window Fashions Artisan project, but it really was born probably 10 years ago when I was with CHF. We've been doing displays for the construction zone about 10 years. And so I was with CHF, and it used to be called the Alumni Weekend. And it was set more for the students to actually do the window treatments. It was like, how do we make beautiful displays for the conference without having to do all the work myself? and make it a learning experience, of course, and a networking experience. So that's where it started. And then when CHF ceased to exist, Grace from Vision said, we still want to keep this going. Are you willing to do it on your own? And I'm like, well, let's give it a go. And so far we've been pretty successful every year keeping it going.
Yeah.
So it's, that's how it's come about.
Yeah, well, it's like I said, I didn't know all the history of it, but I have certainly enjoyed seeing all the vignettes every year. And I think I told you during the practice, it's like, I know when I'm going to the vendor hall that I am making a beeline because that's what I want to see first, those vignettes.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, they're pretty incredible. And I have gotten comments in the past like, well, I could never use that for my client. And that's not the idea of them. The idea of them is to be over the top, out of the box, where you might be able to pull one element from it for an actual client, or it's imagination, and we have a lot of talent in this business, and sometimes we don't get to showcase that talent because we're just, we're doing draperies and Roman shades, panels and Roman shades, panels and Roman shades, and this is a creative outlet for just what we can dream up.
That's right. Just let it go. Because
That's right.
Our designers or our clients, they just dictate, what they want, and like you said, it's like Roman shades, panels, Roman shades and panels, a little trim here and there,
Yeah, a little trim there and there.
Color,
Yeah.
So it's been a really great project. Like I said, I think it has, over the years, and just to see what, folks come up with. And every year I think, well, what else could they come up with next? So yeah, like, I love it. So real quick, go ahead.
I think that it's a great idea too, because it may not be, like you said, something that they could do for their customers or their clients in its entirety, but just one or two elements of the project may be inspiration for them to maybe put a twist on something in the future that they're making, or maybe something that they have in works currently.
Exactly.
Great idea.
Yeah.
We're sitting behind one, or sitting in front of, treatments behind us. That's Rachel's Phantom from last year.
Last year winner. And I have all three of my winners hanging in my house.
Yep.
So I utilize that whole idea of free treatment.
There you go.
Free fabric.
Free fabric. I would never, personally, I would never have purchased, as many, like this one behind us. I mean, it's RM Coco fabrics, and there's no way I would have chosen those fabrics based on their price points. I would have chosen lower price pointed items if I was purchasing it myself. So I got to go all the way out of the box and go sky's the limit, and pick something that I could reuse in my own home.
There you go.
And how about you two ladies? Whenever you're making something, and Ken, you brought up a good point. Whenever you're making something for fabricating, I should say, for a client, do you ever have a moment where, there's something that just it's that light bulb moment, it's that shower moment, like oh my gosh, if I could only do this, it would just add such a nice detail to this treatment. But of course, it's not been approved by your client or their client, and so you're just dying to try it. And of course, if you're deep in the depths of fabrication, you like if you're like me, you forget about it, or you just never you push it off someplace and you never can try it. So I think that's a good point. That depending on the theme and what you're making, some of those elements that you wanted to try or do, you could really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's another good
Like
point.
feathers. There's feathers right there. Would we ever get to use feathers? No, we don't get to use feathers, not usually.
And the other aspect too that goes along with that, Sandra, is you might have this idea, but you don't know how to fabricate it.
Yeah.
Our fabrication weekend, you have, the 6 other or the 5 other winners that come, plus all the helpers, and we're going to brainstorm to figure out how to make that. So
infinite amount of knowledge between all of those people, you're going to figure it out.
Yeah. How many of you out there watching, how many of you ever run across that you're working on something for your client, and you really want to just give it an extra twist, but you can't because it's ultimately not yours in the end. So let me know. And hi, Connie. Connie's here too, and also Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
Everyone. Well, let me ask you this question too. How does this differ from the engineer? I can't even say it now. How does this differ from the ingenuity contest project?
So the ingenuity contest is for your actual clients' completed work that, you know, it's actually hanging in a home, and that's for the fabrication and for the design of that. Whereas this one is, again, the over-the-top creativity, come to fabricate it with us type of contest. So the actual design of it is the winning here. And then I get this question all the time when they see these 6 window treatments up in the construction zone. They say, well, which one won? So they're all winners. Yeah. We this year I think we're going to do we might do
a People's
Choice award. So the actual attendees of the conference will get to vote on which one was their favorite. We've never done that in the past, but everybody keeps wanting to know which one won out of the 6. So we're finally going to give them that. But basically that's it, that, you know, everyone that got to fabricate that treatment with us is a winner.
Good. I like that. That's a great idea. I like that People's Choice Award.
Yeah.
So let's take it from the top.
Okay.
Who sets the theme?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the theme for this year?
Okay, I actually get to set the theme, and it's getting more and more difficult every year. Last year's theme of Broadway, I said, I don't know how I was ever going to top that. But somehow we do it. Somehow, you know, I am perfectly, what's the word I want? I know this year is going to be great. But the theme this year is the future looks bright, gotta have shades. So where we came up with that is we're in Florida, where, you know, they do kind of have a
sunny atmosphere.
Yeah, exactly. Sunny atmosphere. You know, so you could take it something with sunglasses, or I was trying to play on the word shades, because one of the parameters of the requirements of it is that they have to fabricate a shade. And they're going to, I wanted to mention Safety Shade is donating their new motorized system for everybody with a shade. So that right there is a, you know, $200 value that they'll walk away with. So all the shades will be motorized
for the future,
because that is where the future's taking us, that all shades should be motorized, or, you know, child compliant, of course. Exactly. And then the other part of the shades is color, shades of color. So we want it to be very colorful. We're in Florida with the colorful atmosphere. So we're hoping that all the entries have some type of, you know, using shades of vibrant colors.
Okay.
So.
Oh, awesome. That's
awesome. But you could also interpret that as, you know, shades of one color.
Right.
You could take that, just play on the word shade and do whatever your little heart desires. I mean, I had written one little post about just take a piece of you and put it on paper, sketch it. That's all you need. Just one little piece of you, and that's how you get the design.
Yeah, and this one's the most open, I think, in a while, as far as the themes, because it really is anything goes with it. As far as, you know, of course, you don't want to just have a shade. You're going to want to have panels or something, you know, as long as it can be made in 30 yards of fabric.
There you go.
But
and can fit in
a 60 wide by 9 foot tall.
Wow.
Is our parameters. They go on an 8 foot by 10 foot wall. So
that's awesome. And, you know, I think, you know, you're talking about the motorized shade, and I didn't think about this before, but not only are we able to just, you know, sky's the limit with our creativity, but if you've never done a motorized shade before, it's a learning experience too.
Exactly. I was just contacted today by somebody that could not make it to the show, but she says she's going to watch the recorded, and she had actually asked me about possibly doing a shade class for her. privately. And I said, well, hey, enter and come to the weekend and you get it free because we're all there and we're all going to be making them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one perk just right there.
Yeah, exactly.
You keep mentioning Florida. You may want to put out there when the actual contest is and where the actual conference is.
The conference is in Tampa, March 27th and 28th. And the fabrication weekend for our contest is February 1st through the 5th.
So you fly in on the 1st, we fabricate on 2, 3, and 4, and you fly home on the 5th.
Yeah.
All right.
But keep in mind your design should be in a 3-day. You should be able to fabricate it with a helper.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own helper. You're not alone. Obviously, you might have 2 helpers, depending on how much help we get. But
There's always plenty of people to help. There's never a shortage of, when you're there doing the actual fabrication, everyone's willing to help you, finish or push through. And this year we're actually going to get a little bit more time because in the past we've had a lot of travel. It's taken us, where the house we're staying at might take an hour to get to the workspace. And this year, since it's at, it's in me and Terry's workroom, we don't have to close. So we have control over how long this workroom's open if someone needs a little bit more time to really wrap something up, or we have a little bit more control over that this year.
Well, let's go back a little bit and talk about the application process first. Okay, so you already have the application out there, correct? And so the interested parties, tell them, exactly what they have to do. Are there certain elements that they need to put into that entry, into that application?
they have, it's either red or purple. No. Or orange.
Some of what bright color.
Are you going to change it to more Florida theme?
My hair?
Yeah.
Who knows by then? That's March. I have no idea what color my hair will be.
Maybe we'll go turquoise blue on it.
No, that's for you. I'm not doing turquoise.
No, basically all they need to do is sketch or render their idea and email it to me at terribooser@gmail.com. Terry's with an I and Booser's with an S. And, they can find the guidelines on our Facebook page, which is Window Fashion's Construction Zone and Artisan Project, or just send me a quick email if you can't find it, and I'll hook you up. But the guidelines are on there, and it's basically that's it. I mean, as far as, because we do all the fabric and hardware selection after the fact.
Okay.
We have done it differently in the past, but this year, again, we did it this way last year as well. Whereas the designs are submitted on the design on its own, so it can be in black and white. But if you want to include what color you're thinking of using, whatever you feel will enhance the rendering the most.
And it costs $0.
Yeah.
All it takes is the time it takes for you to make the sketch. That's it, nothing else. And then if you're chosen, it takes your travel here to Houston for the Artisan weekend. And I think we have, don't we do?
The house rental, everybody chips in to pay for the rental of the house and the food that's in the house.
Yeah.
It's about, hasn't ever gone over $250. So basically $250 a person plus your flight here. What did I want to mention? I thought of something and I just lost it.
Well, let me ask you a little bit more about the entry process, though. So, do we have to worry about, like you mentioned something about 30 yards of fabric? Are there any elements that we would have to bring ourselves? I mean, I guess you guys have fabrics and trims.
Right.
Okay.
The trims are donated as well. And I apologize for not knowing the sponsors yet. We're still working on that. That's a big process behind the scenes, but Vision themselves has kind of taken that over to help me out this year. So I'm still kind of waiting to hear from them.
Okay.
But usually, if you design it around fabric and trim and hardware, that is all supplied. Lining. Now, if there's an element to your design that is not from a vendor that is a sponsor, like Kevin's,
or Terri Horton had the deer head the one year.
Yeah, and Kevin had his. Well, everybody
Kevin
did do the lights last year.
Yeah.
Everybody.
But Kevin needed shoes. He brought those.
Kiki boots. But yeah, if there's an element that they really want in their design that doesn't come from a normal vendor, then they are allowed to supply that themselves.
Okay.
And if there is one that I can possibly get as a donation, I try. Like Julie Wood, 2 years ago, had she used a metal art punch applique in the middle of the cornice, and I actually was able to get that donated from the company that does do that art punch. So I try, but if I can't, then they have to supply that themselves.
Gotcha. Now, when is the deadline to submit?
It's October 31st.
Ooh, it's coming right up.
Coming up pretty quick.
But how long does it take to make a sketch?
Okay.
It does not take that long. You're talking maybe an hour, 2 hours max of just a dream in your head.
And the other thing too is you can enter more than one sketch.
Yes.
Oh,
You can enter up to 6.
Yep.
So if you have just
12 hours.
what's that, Ken? I didn't hear that.
That could take up to 12 hours.
Yeah,
then it could.
That's only a day of your life.
You can do that from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Now, who can apply, and do you have to be individual, or can you be like 2 or more people? What's the rules on that?
Yeah, no, you anybody can apply. What was that first part of her question?
Who can apply?
Okay, so anybody can apply. Anybody that's willing to come to the fabrication weekend, February 1st through 5th. That's
the only requirement that you come to actually fabricate the treatment.
Okay.
And that actually came from there's multiple reasons why we do it. One, of course, the fun and the networking aspect of it.
Yeah.
But it also is a controlled environment per se, that I know that those treatments are going to arrive at the conference completed, and I'm going to put them up. So they stay with us until they go to conference. We transport them there. So
but open to designers,
open
right?
to designers, open to teams. Julie Wood and Renee Rushi has been a team in the past.
Yeah.
We really want to encourage teams too, because Vision is the conference that brings together designers and workrooms. It's the only one out there that does that. So the more designer workroom teams we have, the more, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, we both like that.
And if you don't have if you are a workroom that really wants to do this, but you don't feel you have a creative part of you, find someone that does.
Ask your favorite designer.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then you get the treatment. Yay, workroom.
And I'm going to put it out there. This is something off the top of my head.
Squirrel.
I've heard so many people say I can't draw.
Yeah.
So
Sandra.
If you have an idea and you can conceptualize it through words,
I can draw.
She can draw. So, we are not judges. We cannot be judges in this contest. We submit them to industry partners to do the judging.
Anonymously.
Your name's not on it. So if you do
have a dream in your head, but you need help putting it pen to paper, let me know and we'll sketch it up. We'll get as close as we can. Sandra.
She's calling my name.
Sandra.
I have an idea, actually. You guys practice. And as we go along tonight, everyone, again, I want to welcome everybody into here and let us know that you're here. And if you have any questions, I still have a bunch more myself. And then we do have Julia and Kevin waiting in the wings, and we're going to bring them out in a few seconds. But I have more questions for you. How many will go to the IWCE? How many ultimately will you have?
How many will be on display?
How many would be on display? Sorry, thank you.
Six will be on display.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So people will submit their drawings, and then you'll have judges who will decide who the winner, who have been chosen, and the folks will be notified.
Yes.
And, I know we've talked a little bit about the fabrication weekend, but what do you call it?
Fabrication weekend.
Fabrication weekend.
Yeah.
And so one of my questions, but you've already answered, was tell me again, when's the date for the weekend?
It's February 1st. You would fly in February 1st. We fabricate the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and then fly out February 5th.
Okay.
And what days of the week is that?
That is a Thursday through a Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's a true weekend work other than, the flying.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And then I know you said that there's a home that we'll be staying in.
Yes. There's a beautiful home that we have rented.
A really cool Airbnb.
Yep. That has, I think it has like 10 beds.
Yeah. It has a ton
It's
of
huge,
room.
with a gym and a pool. Not that you're gonna have time for that at all, but it's there.
Yeah.
An outdoor,
Like a big patio.
Yeah,
with a fire pit and.
if you go to the Facebook page, there's actually a link to it if you want to see the house.
Mm-hmm.
So you will be staying in everyone will have their own bed, and no one's going to be sleeping on couches or floors or anything like that. We treat you right. So there's always plenty of wine. I actually send, once the winners are, selected, I send out a questionnaire on what they want the house stocked with. And we make sure
so if you can't work without chocolate covered almonds, we'll make sure you have chocolate covered almonds.
Yeah.
Or bananas if you're more
if you're
healthier.
Now, not only do you have the folks who are the winners that will come, but if there's anybody out there who doesn't feel like they're quite ready to submit an entry, they're more than welcome to come and help out. And I guess, would you say that if you want to come out, you don't have to be someone who's been in the industry for 50 years and have all this experience. Just to experience the whole process to go there.
We would like you to be able, know some basics.
Yeah.
How
to iron.
Yeah. How to work a sewing machine.
Yeah. Maybe not even have to, but they should at least know a little bit.
That would be helpful. I have seen photos of in years past that you all have put out there, and it always looks like everyone's having so much fun. And
we are.
And you just can't help but form lasting bonds with the folks that you're spending the weekend with, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It really is. You'll notice that in a trend if you follow it and seeing the winners. Julie Wood has been there twice. Rachel's been there 3 times, and it's because once you come, you're going to be hooked.
Yeah, I was hooked on the first one. Yeah. Because I'd never done anything like that before. And what got me was you get to keep the treatment at the end of the contest. So I immediately was like, free treatment, so that's why I'm going to do it. But after spending the weekend, and then going to the show in the IWCE, I was just like, oh yeah, this is cool. This is a lot of fun,
It's really cool to be a part of the show too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an experience in itself. You get to see the background of the show. I know when I first did this, I was amazed at. I loved being on that show floor before the show floor went up. Because as an attendee, you walk in and it's all beautiful, but the work that goes into that, and you see it firsthand, and you're part of it. It's really cool. You do get a backstage pass for this, so that's kind of a cool thing too.
So before I bring Kevin and Julia out, they're waiting patiently. Just real quick, the once the treatments are finished, they stay with you all and you pack them up, and they head over. You bring them to the conference for the big reveal, and then up until that point, it's all mouths are zipped. It's all it's all secret until
secret reveal. Yes.
Yeah, and then once they're on display, I just can't imagine. Like I said, I think I know Julia and I know and Kevin and some of the others when you go there and you look at their treatments, and I can't help but think that it really must be a proud, maybe even an emotional moment.
Yeah.
See your treatments up there. So
it's really cool, and then to see them in print in the magazine.
Yes.
Is even another thrill.
Yeah, and even going through the award ceremony as well.
Yes, you get an award for it. It's a very, very awesome experience,
Yeah, for any business that's even trying to promote themselves or feel and be established, this is a great avenue. It's it's a marketing, it's a PR opportunity. To be able to get your business out there in front of people, and it validates you immediately.
Yeah, and it costs nothing to enter. It costs nothing to enter. Just a sketch.
It is a commitment. You do have to commit to come.
Yes, you do have to commit to the weekend, but that's it.
Yeah. I am going to bring Kevin in first, and then I'll bring Julia. Is that okay with you, Julia? Shake your head. She can hear. I hope she's
sleeping.
I think she might be frozen. She might have to refresh.
I think she's sleeping.
Let me bring Kevin in. And while I'm bringing Kevin in, hang on a second, Kev. And I just want to stop real quick and say, let's see. Ruth said that Sandra wants to do many times. Yeah, we're talking about the wanting to add our own little twist to the treatments. And Bill said, sounds like a ton of fun.
That was Kim that said that.
And then Bill said that was Kim that said that. Come on, Bill, you can go with us. You can film the whole thing. But anyway, so hey, Kev, thank you for being so patient.
Hey, how are you?
Well, I brought you on tonight. I guess it's like having the kids are my kids. So it's my house. Okay. But we brought you here tonight because you had a wonderful entry last year, but it was this year. And so tell me a little bit, how was the experience for you?
It was kind of funny because you think about, man, I'm going to design this thing. It's going to be great. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be over the top. And here you go. And then when you finally come down to fabricating it, you're like, if this thing doesn't work, this could be one of the century's epic fails. Because one of the things I did was, Terri made it kind of spicy last year because she said it had to have a lighting element to it. So I put in, I think it was 500 fiber optic lights in my cornice board. And as we're doing it, I'm like, oh, this would be perfect. And as I'm working on it, I'm going like, I can't get these lights in here. And I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So here it was. That was that moment of like, what am I doing? And then, but like Terri was saying, it's like the wealth of information of people that would just be like, well, let's try this. Let's see how this works. We're like, okay. So I was out with Jeff's truck, like, give me some drill bits. I'm going to do this. So we did the whole thing, and it was great. We got a chance to use some new machines that we had never heard of. Like, I'd never seen a serger ruffler before in my entire life. I've never seen that. And I've never seen some of the other things you're like, oh, does this thing even exist? It's like, what is this? So it was great because, we're all taught what we know, and we think that's kind of the only way to do it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm working on this cornice board, and I'm like, I cannot get these corners right. And I look across the table, and Kathy Tucker's like 10 feet away from me. And I'm like, if anyone's going to know how to do cornice boards, it's going to be her. So I yanked her over. I'm going, hey, show me how you do this. I'm like, what? All these 20 years I've been doing this, I've never thought about this. So I thought it was going to be a little more saucier, like a little more Project Runway. But it was actually, like we were going to be slamming each other going like, what is that? You know. So it was kind of fun.
We're nice in this industry.
Yeah, well, it was actually quite comforting, actually. So, but the helpers we had were like, I almost got to the point where I felt guilty, where I asked, I can't remember her name. I said, "Hey, do you mind?"
Seal.
What was it? Seal. Yes.
It was Seal.
Oh, poor Seal. Yeah, Seal talks to me. That's great. But I asked this one gal. I said, "Do you mind hand sewing 3 yards of beaded chain on this drapery? You've got 45 minutes. Thanks."
That was it Teresa? No.
Carrie.
Yes,
Carrie Broussard.
That was Carrie.
Thank you. I could not remember her name. So I felt almost guilty. I thought, who are you to ask anyone to sew this on? You designed it, do it yourself, you know?
Yeah, but we had to go to dinner. So you had to be done.
Yeah. So it was quite interesting because I had no idea what you're walking into. When you're walking in and you're like, well, like, okay, you know, I've got this deal. This is no big deal. And then you design this treatment. And I think the worst thing about it was I'm like, okay, Terry, let's put it up and see what it looks like. And she's like, oh, no.
Nope.
It gets put right in the truck. I'm like, wait a minute.
Put it in plastic.
She goes, well, if it's wrong, we'll just make it what it is. I'm like, so that was a bit unnerving, but we got through it. It was fine.
I lost Julia again. I keep losing her, so I would bring her in here. Yeah, I can't. Let me see if we can get her in here. If we can, I'm going to bring her in. Here she is. Here she is. Hang on. Kev, I'm going to thank you for all your information there. And hang on. Don't go away. I'm going to put you back in the lobby, but I'm going to bring Julia up real quick, okay?
All right.
I hope you're working on that sketch, Kevin.
Yeah.
I stay put. We'll bring you back in a few minutes.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, Julia, I'm bringing you up. I'm bringing Julia Tamer up here because she had a vignette as well. Hey, Julia, thank you so much for being patient. You kept going in and out. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, having a little bit of internet issues, but it's good to see everybody.
Hi, Julia.
Hey, good to
Can you
see
hear me?
Yep.
All right, perfect.
Tell us about your experience. And if anybody out there watching, if you have questions for Julia or Terry
Kevin.
or Rachel
Or Kevin.
Go ahead.
Well, let me just say I love this show. I love this part of the industry. I did the Coco Chanel treatment. That was my first experience. And then I came back and helped the next year. And then did I submit? Yeah, I submitted for that one too, but it wasn't chosen, which is fine. I still came back and helped. Mm-hmm. And then last year I submitted and, was chosen for the Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. So do we still have a delay?
A
hair.
A little bit.
That's okay.
Okay, sorry.
We can hear you though. Your video freezes up a little bit, but we can still hear you. So you're good.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I love it. It is, a learning experience for me, and I can't draw. I just tell Terry what my ideas were, verbally or written down. I say, I have this idea. And last year I got my ideas from the Manipulating Fabric book. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it was the Godets in that book. So I told Terry, I said, this is what I like. I want this, this, and this, but I don't know how to draw it. So she did have Rachel draw it for me, and it was exactly for, with how I wanted it, because my sketches were awful. So don't be afraid. But yeah, and the networking is amazing, and we have a great time.
Sounds like you guys do. Like I said, I've seen the photos in the past, and I see you all hard at work. And then I see you having a glass of wine over dinner, and but again, like you said, I think it's just a camaraderie also, and then it sounds like you learn from one another as well, and then just the lasting friendships that you can form.
Yeah, this industry can be so lonely. and that's one of the reasons why I started it. Was it's one weekend to all come together and learn and have fun and be with other people other than yourself in a workroom.
Yeah.
So it's real fun.
Yeah. Well, our time is winding down here. I can't believe it's been almost an hour for us. But tell us before we go, how can people find you all? I know you said it, but say it again.
It's the Window Fashions Construction Zone and Artisan Project. That's the Facebook page. If they have trouble finding that, you should be able to just search in Facebook for Artisan Project or Construction Zone, or just contact me at Terri Booser, and I can
call or text either of us.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and we'll get you up on the page.
Yeah, and get your entries in. October 31st is the deadline.
Yeah.
Right?
Midnight. I will say they had till midnight, and us in the the fabrication world, I do get entries right up till midnight. So that's just the way our industry rolls. So I'm waiting for them to pour in.
Yeah.
That midnight Texas time or midnight?
Anytime.
It's midnight Japan time.
Anytime midnight.
They really have until I wake up the next morning.
Oh my God. Anybody out there have any questions before we go? There's a little delay, so I will keep going till we see someone if they have a question. And I just want to say that next week, our guest will be Kerry Baker. And he is actually a web designer from Holyoke, Massachusetts. And I think that you all are going to really love to hear what he has to say. His company is called Midnight Sun Designs, and he's going to be talking about websites, WordPress websites, and we might ask him even to compare WordPress versus maybe a drop and drag. And I think I'm going to poke him a little bit about SEO. I've looked at his website. He knows Bill and Kim really well, and so he came highly recommended. And I can't wait to have him on the show. So get your questions ready. Yeah, and like Bill said, we will love him. He is he's just really awesome. Very, very creative. And so some people might be looking for a new have a new website made, or you just might have some questions for him. So he's going to be here next week. And just let everyone know, I think High Point's still going on. That's kind of, still a little bit industry news. And Ken and I were there on Sunday. We had a blast. Yeah. I'm sure a lot of you have seen some of the posts that we had out there. Yeah. Very interesting show. We had a really good time. And Ruth said good night, Ruth. And then
hey, before they all leave, can I say one more thing?
Oh yeah.
Which is basically the construction zone where these will be displayed. I am going to be soliciting pretty soon here for the demonstrations for the construction zone. So if you're going to the conference and you have something that you would like to share, and maybe you've been thinking about going into the teaching field or whatever, I'd love to talk to you or see what you would have ideas for possible demonstration for the construction zone. We have two. We have one that the attendees actually fabricate a little thing, so it's hands-on, and then we also have one that just the demonstration aspect of it, and they watch you do it. So if there's anybody out there that is willing to do a demonstration, you do get free classes for doing that, for doing the demonstrations in the construction zone. So email me.
How long are those segments?
20 minutes.
An hour or 20 minutes? Okay.
20 minutes to a half hour. They're they rotate every half hour, and we like to give a little bit of time for setup and cleanup. But 20 minutes to a half hour is what we aim to be the teaching part of it.
Cool. Yeah. We might submit something.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love to have it.
Yeah, that's exciting. And is there anything else that I missed from you girls before I still have a couple more announcements, but before we go.
I don't think so.
I think that's it.
I think we're good.
Was there a time delay or a time limit on the application for the construction zone, the exhibit, the seminar type thing?
I don't have a deadline out there now because they haven't given me my deadline yet either. So, but I'm going to be putting it out there, and I'll have to find out my deadline before I get that deadline. But right now we're good. It'll probably be, I would think, end of November. End of November.
Yeah.
I probably need to know. It's usually about 3 months prior that they do the actual printed material.
Right. Okay.
Cool.
So,
All right.
thank you.
Yeah. And so don't go away yet, folks.
Okay.
And then where did I leave off? And then October 28th, I will be in Atlanta attending the Country Living Fair. And I think a lot of you know that Kim Chagnon, a leader in our industry, will be taking the main stage with her upholstery skills. Pretty excited.
Wow.
I will be out there doing some filming, and hopefully if we have good sale, I'll do some live so you can see what she's doing and what the fair kind of looks like. So, and if anybody's out there in that during that time frame, please, stop by too. And she is going to be on the main stage on that Saturday. Kim, if you're still there, give us the date. I knew I should have put it in here, but I forgot. I think it is the 28th, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry. That's right. And last but not least, October is National Windows Covering Safety Month. So there's some folks out there that I know Safety Shades, we mentioned them.
Is the 20th.
Is it 28th? Okay. Safety Shades has some really good savings out there on, I think their headrails, the lift. Help me out.
It's buy two, get one free.
Yes.
Of the ProLift system.
ProLift. That's the one I couldn't think of. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're still having that good deal on their motorized, their new motors too. That goes to the end of the month.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think some of us, well, I didn't miss the ring locks and the rings deal. So I got my order on that one.
Good for you.
So, but anyway, I just want to say thank you again for being here. And Kev, I wish I could bring all of us in at the same time. I can see Kevin, but we can see Kevin. But thank you again. And Julia for being here. Appreciate it on all of you out there. And it's great that you show up every week, like Kim said before, because if it wasn't for you, we'd have no reason to be here. So thanks again. And we will see you all next week. Until then,
Get your blue tape on.
I know, where's my piece?
Oh, you got it over there.
Blue tape? Where's the blue tape?
I'll fix this one. Wait a minute. I got it. Okay, everyone. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
And we'll see.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys can stay right there.
Okay.
I hope you liked the video. And be sure to follow me on social media. Here, and here. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you'll be notified whenever I post my next video.